he was in my ear all the time. He's giving me high fives and fist pumps and shaking my horn and all that. I always attract him. Yeah,
Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along. A very warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Solihull. We are live once again. It's Wednesday night. It's IPA pool night. It's the Premier League, once again live from Riley's here in Solihull. That is the prize on offer, and this is the state of play ahead of our next week of action. Mark Boyle, Craig Marsh, Mark Farnsworth and Simon Ward are all in action tonight. And this is the current state of play. Craig Marsh and Mark Boyle, the final two players who will play their 5th and 6th games. So after tonight, we will have a pretty good lay of the land in the Premier League table. Neil Raybone sits atop it. He has got a chance, though, to be dethroned tonight by both Simon Ward and Mark Farnsworth. It is very, very tight at the top. If you take a look at all the players who've played 6 games, only 4 points separate top from bottom. Everyone is beating each other, and that is what makes this so very exciting. Craig Marsh and Mark Boyle to start us off then. Here's Marsh, who has the opening break. The finest breaks in the game. And he's off to a good start. Plenty of movement on the pack. A few balls down as well, which is always a good start. Spirits this evening. Plenty of banter going on between them all. Ahead of the big kick-off tonight. Both Marsh and Boyle, a little bit of table pressure on them. They are the last to reach this 6-game milestone. It means they are at the bottom of the table. Loser of this has a little bit of pressure on them for their 2nd game tonight. Of course, it may well be a draw. First frame is absolutely going to Craig Marsh here, no question about that. He's made this look very, very straightforward. That is a beautiful example of what he can do. Terrific stuff from the Welshman. as we await the first break from Mark Boyle. This is what he's been up to in the Premier League, and just goes to show how different the table could look, give or take a couple of frames. Heavy defeat to Neil Raybone was met with a heavy victory over Mark Farnsworth, and then two very, very entertaining draws against Liam Dunster and Gareth Hibbert. He's a fantastic player to watch, Mark Boyle, when he's in full flow. He's given us some brilliant entertainment over the course of this Premier League so far. And he too also has a pretty devastating break when it's going, but that is not an ideal start for him. White kicked in off. And all of a sudden, Craig Marsh has got a decent chance here to take a 2-zip lead. Surveys the table.
Stand, Sean.
Options on either colour set, really. It's a very open table for him. Looks like reds are the choice. Just wait to clear the table against the yellows. The black ball will go into the middle pocket by the looks of things. The bottom left pocket, as we look at it now, is tied up by the reds. I don't think they will worry too much about that. Just wonder if he's overplayed that a fraction. He's a few inches further than he'd like to be. Just going in and out of the top of the table here. And just about hold it. Again from Craig Marsh. Not a lot that man could have done about it, really. He was unlucky to get kicked in off. There we go. Simple as that for Craig Marsh. Made that look very, very easy indeed. And in truth, he hasn't had to work particularly hard for a player of his ability on either of those two clearances. He's had mixed results so far. He got a good win over Simon Ward when he was here in the early weeks of the competition, 5-3. A couple of draws and a close defeat, though, have rather skewed his table negatively. You can see just a couple of frames either way, and it could have been very, very different. He was 4-1 up against Liam Dunster, for example. Marshy means business tonight. That's another terrific break. Hitting them beautifully.
Extension.
Extension called. Due to the threat of the shot clock. 30 seconds per shot, which isn't a lot of time at all. Once again, these reds look very nicely poised for him. pops that in dead weight. Slightly awkward queuing. Cues it beautifully though, sweet as a nut. It's going to be 3-zip in absolutely no time at all. Marsh is on the march. Tremendous from the Welshman, former world champion. Just about as good a start as he could have wished for. His recent form has been pretty good generally. He was qualifying for this tournament, ranked in the top 5. He was an automatic pick. Got to the semi-final of the European Open where he was beaten by Ben Davis, quarter-final of the professionals as well, which was a really good tournament for him. Went deep in both in Coventry back in August. Quarter-final of the English Open as well. Such a good player to watch when he's on form. A few more natural players in the game. You can see there, that is Mark Boyle breaking near his best. He spotted 3 reds there. You can see, just watch the white off the pack. He cues it so precisely, so it would go absolutely nowhere near the corner pockets. In the end, look where it's ended up. It's only taken Craig Marsh 7 minutes to go 3-0 up. Mark Boyle here's got a little bit of work. Red on the cushion is an issue for him. So far we yet to really see a false note from either player. Shot clock pressure here for Boyle. Playing it nicely. Just going to tuck up behind it. He should be okay for the position on the black. This is a tricky little shot. Just a tickle up the cushion. You can see he's playing with the around that side as well. It's a lovely shot. And it's going to be 4 frames out the way in absolutely no time at all. Super stuff from both players. No real false notes from either man, apart from a very unfortunate in off the break from Mark Boyle. Once the balls have been on the table and once the hands and cues have joined them, it has been near faultless. It is 3-1 to Craig Marsh in next to no time. We're going to go for a break and they'll be back to conclude the match after this. Solihull. These are the statistics at the start of this one. It's been an electric start from both Craig Marsh and Mark Boyle. Neither have looked like missing at all. As I mentioned before the break, only one false note, and that was Mark being kicked in off the break. Couldn't really do a huge amount about it, in truth. It's flown by in an absolute whirlwind, really. And the two can resume.
Fifth frame, Craig Marsh to break.
With Craig to break.
Time
for
running.
the fifth frame. Joined by Simon Ward on the commentary. It's Simon, you're in action in our next game against Mark Farnsworth. You were here last week. It's feeling like a little bit of rhythm for you at some point.
Yes, absolutely. I was here last week. Picked up 4 points, so I was pretty pleased with that. Glad to be back here again this week now. Hopefully still warmed up from last week, so looking forward to it.
And you've got the chance as well, being one of the first two players to play their 7th and 8th games, to go top of the table, put a little bit of table pressure on the rest.
Yeah, it's quite a big night for me, to be honest. I think, as I say, the format, we move to the top 6, go through to the next stage, if you will. I think 3 points tonight would pretty much put me in that top 6. So as I say, it's a big night for me. I'm looking at a minimum of 3 points from tonight, but it's obviously going to be tough playing Mark Boyle and Mark Farnsworth.
Yeah, you couldn't really get too much tougher fixtures to try and do that. And on the flip side of this, though, of course, you've got Mark and Craig here, who are on the opposite side, that the last to play their 5th and 6th games, and because of that, they're automatically at the bottom of the table, and they've got the other side of that sort of pressure. And the fact they're playing each other as well means the loser is really going to be scrapping for every point for the second game. Yeah,
absolutely. But as you say, they've got games in hand over the rest of the field, so they can make up. You know, one of them could end up, if the results go their way, one of them could end up coming from the bottom of the table to the top tonight. But obviously, from my point of view, I'm hoping for a draw.
Well, at the start of this one, we did see our first dry break of the evening, and just having a bit of a chat with Craig at the half-time interval, as it were, he will feel that's very much typical, because it all came so easy to him in the first bit of this match.
Yeah, the table broke well for both players, really, and it's a bad shot from Mark there. I'm not sure whether he had a bad contact or whether he was just concentrating too much on playing the cannon. He's got away with it to an extent, but obviously Craig will be glad to get back to the table so soon.
Yeah, he's wanted to free the red at the top of the table, which is... And you can see the angles there, but just wonder if he has taken his eye off the pot. Didn't look to be a particularly bad contact.
No, I don't think it was. I think, as you say, he took his eye off it a bit. Craig can't really do a great deal here. He's sort of... He's not leaving Mark anything easy, but... as I say, he'll obviously be wary of the fact that Mark has got 4 balls on the table where he can break out his bad ball.
So typical, isn't it, really? And after the first 4 frames, we have a little bit of a break, and all of a sudden it gets a little bit tactical. That's a very canny little shot.
Yeah, Craig's going to be in a lot of trouble here, I think, if Mark's in the 2. He's played a good shot there.
Touching ball, time running.
I think he was looking to attack after the play in that shot, but obviously where the cue ball's landed is giving him an option but to play the snooker. Craig should hit this, and as long as he does, Craig's still got a chance in the frame. Say, because Mark's got that awkward red at the top of the table. He has made the hit.
The question for Mark is does he go for this from this position? He's always tempted, isn't he? Very attacking player.
I think he might be. Might see a bit of an exhibition shot here. Yes, trying to hold that. He was at the stage there where the balls were, he needed to make something happen. He was kind of run out of options. So I think he's almost got to go game here, but knowing that he's quite big second favourite at this point.
Yeah, what he was looking to do was almost a banana swerve into the...
That's right, yeah.
Into the yellow and red at the top of the table. As you can see, didn't really get into it anywhere near enough. But those shots are very, very tough to judge.
Yeah.
There's a reason they're called exhibition shots.
Yeah.
That's where you see the safety.
Quite a clever shot from Mark there. He's played it well. He's limited Craig's options from here. As I say, even if Craig leaves him a pot after this, which I'm sure he will, it's still very difficult for Mark to break out his awkward red. Craig's just tried to tie the black up slightly there, which he has done. And again, because there's so much traffic in the way, it's very difficult for Mark to get into that red at the bottom end of the table.
Just looking at the two reds at the bottom, just trying to sort of get the compass out in my head a little bit as to how he can get back up to the top table to break that out. It's not easy, is it?
No, Mark's going to have to try and bide his time here. He needs to get one of the reds further up the table to give him more options, which he's tried to lay a snooker there, but all he's done is put his red safe, really. I think he's best pleased with that.
It was a little bit of an all or nothing shot really to Mark. Had to get the snooker, otherwise he could have been in a bit of trouble.
Exactly.
And the longer this continues in this sort of vein, the heavier the favourite Craig Marsh becomes.
Extension called.
Because whilst his yellow is also a problem board at the top of the table with the red, he's got so many more options to break it out.
Yeah. I don't think Craig will be any rush to attack at the moment, unless he can see an easy cannon straight away. He just tried to break the yellow off the cushion there, so he could leave himself an angle, but he hasn't got it. But as I say, he's in no rush here. The only ball that Mark can use to break out the red is the red on the left hand, in the left pocket as we look, and it's obviously very tough for him to then clear up from that position.
And that's a clever shot as well, because Mark won't particularly want to play this red. And he's forced to. It's essentially a snooker, this, in the way that it's laid.
Mark's just rolled onto it. So he's not really. He hasn't really forced Craig's hand in any way. Craig needs to be a bit careful here, keep his balls in the open, and he should be able to, in a couple of shots' time, should be able to manufacture an angle to break into the yellow and red himself.
It's worth remembering when we see these slower, fiddly, tactical shots, without a total snooker called, balls must hit a cushion after contact. I think Mark was trying to leave that over the pocket. Caused Craig a few issues.
Yeah. Craig's going to try and slide this yellow past the red. He needs to be careful. Oh, it's a long shot from Craig there. He's given Mark two shots in a frame where he was a big second favourite.
Well, that's what we said.
Time out.
Sadly for Craig, I just wonder if I put a little bit of the commentator's curse on him. I did mention just a second ago, cushion after contact is very important, and now, all of a sudden, from being massive underdog in this frame, Mark Boyle in one moment has become the big favourite. It's there for him.
Mark needs to be careful he doesn't leave himself straight on this red on the cushion after this. If he doesn't, it should be plain sailing. He's played it pretty well.
Well, a frame at one point that he had absolutely no right to win.
Yeah, it's a big frame. This could have been 4-1. Craig's guaranteed a point at that stage if he wins this frame. But obviously, he's given Mark a second chance. Mark's played a pretty well-controlled shot there. It's a bit of a thin cut in the black, but you'd expect him to pot this.
I mean, this is a very similar shot to the one that he missed right at the start of this frame. At least at this point, he's not got to worry about cannoning everything. This is all on the pot.
That's there.
And that is sweet as a nut. You can see Craig shaking his head in the background. will know. You can see there, Mark Boyle as Scottish as Scottish can be with his can of Iron Brew in the corner. This is recent tournament history. He was heavily in action in the English Open in particular. He had a great run there where he got to the final against Neil Rayburn, and those two played out an epic 7-6 in the final. Neil won it, and I believe I'm right in thinking Tony ran into you at the World Championships in round one.
Yeah, last couple of years I've had a very tough draw in the opening round.
He might say the same thing.
Yeah. As I say, it was obviously the tie of the round, I think, and luckily I managed to scrape through that one into the deciding frame. And obviously, the rest is history, as they say.
Well, you take a look at the recent tournament history there, and what that won't tell you is the fact that because Mark is a new pro, he's actually getting really tough draws in rounds 1, 2 and 3. He's seeded towards the bottom because that's where his rank is. So the fact that he's still getting finals, quarterfinals is nothing short of amazing, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's obviously he's in the Premier League, so he's a top 10 player, but his ranking is basically between 32 and 64. So he's basically guaranteed a tough game every first round of the events. So as you say, he does well to get through those games. On the flip side, if he does win that opening match, he then obviously becomes the seed. So it does help him to get through the next couple of rounds. But obviously, coming into a tournament and being guaranteed a tough match in the very first round isn't ideal.
No, it's a struggle we see quite a lot of the new players take. It takes a while for them to get their footing in the rankings, but just testimony to how good Mark is. He's a top amateur. And it said a lot that he wasn't even ranked when he ran into you in round 1 of the World Championships. And I think, actually, according to the bookies, that you were second favourite in that one.
Yes,
which said everything.
Yeah, as I said, in all honesty, it was probably a pretty much an even game. But as you say, Mark gets a lot of support north of the border. So bookies may have taken that into account, but as I say, I'm playing an unranked, basically professional in the first round. I'm thinking, I should probably be favourite for the match, but realistically, it was more of a coin flip, and it really was in the end because it came down to the very last frame.
Yes, I remember that actually. Yeah, you didn't do things the easy way in Bradford.
I like to get value for money.
Oh, we certainly got that. Got a few late nights in the boat again as well.
He's underhit that slightly. He'd be a bit annoyed there because he had a lot more table to play in than that. He didn't need to land perfect. As long as he hit it too hard, he was always going to be on this red. See, he's punting his cue there. He's going to play for the red in the middle next, but there's a bit of traffic. This could go wrong. He's not guaranteed to pot the red even.
It's a very, very thin one.
Oh, he's missed. Yeah, he's concentrating too much on the cannon. I mean, if he'd got very close to it and left on the pocket, it wouldn't have been the end of the world. But as he missed it by so much, the red's come away and left Craig a chance to finish. As you can see there, he was concentrating on playing that cannon. He's played the cannon perfect, to be fair, but obviously he's missed the pot.
How often do we see it when the cannons play perfectly because of the line made? That line wasn't good enough for the pot, and Craig will back himself in here. It's not a simple finish, but he's had far more difficult ones.
Yeah, the yellow on the right-hand side, he's maybe looking to double that, where you can see he's pointing his cue. But the yellow on the right-hand side is problem ball. All depends how he feels, if he wants to play the double. If he lands out nice, then can play it. It looks like he may have been slightly too far. See the grimace on his face there. If it's one of those shots, the double, if he lands nice in it, he's almost unmissable, but he's come a bit too far. Is he still playing? He looks like he might still be playing it.
Doesn't like it at
No.
all.
He doesn't need to push the board up and play a double at the moment. He's got 4 balls left that are easy. He can play on it again if he wants to.
Yeah, he might just have to reroute here. He's called his extension. He has got a little bit of time on his side.
He's played it very well. He's played the white great as well, off 2 cushions aside, giving him options.
terrific shot this, because this wasn't unmissable.
No, not at the pace he played it. If he could have just dropped it in, I wouldn't have fancied to miss it. But at that pace, if you don't hit the centre of the pocket, it's not going to go in. He's played that very well. He would have played that shot almost as the black in this frame, because he's thinking if he gets the double and gets the white out and lands nice on a yellow, he will win the frame. So he's almost thought to himself, well, this is effectively my black ball.
Yeah, it should be relatively straightforward from here for Craig. And of course, to guarantee him a point as well, which, with the results that he's had, he will feel that he probably needs, bare minimum.
Yeah, I think he'd be looking at 4 points at least from tonight, as will Mark. So if he can get at least a draw here.
Of course, with the game set as it is, you won't just be thinking about the draw either.
He's playing that well. Just roll into the middle pocket now.
Oh, it just creeped its way in. You can see a little shake of the head from Craig Marsh.
I don't know whether he just didn't concentrate on that or whether he just misjudged it slightly, but that almost didn't go in.
Let's take another look. Oh, he is. I'll tell you what, any quicker, and I don't think that does go in. Creeped into the middle pocket from Craig Marsh. A reminder of what we've got coming up this evening. We'll see the man himself, Simon Ward, up next against Mark Farnsworth. Looking forward to that one. And then we'll see Mark take on Craig in our third game. And you'll have Mark Boyle in the last game. It's an entertaining lineup for the neutral.
Absolutely.
4 frames to
Looks
2.
good.
Time running.
I think as I say, it's the same in most weeks, but you could literally have any combination of results tonight, I think. As I say,
Which is what makes this so watchable.
I think obviously from me and Mark Farnsworth's point of view, we're near the top of the table. I think we're just hoping to come away with 3, maybe 4 points would be ideal. The same really for Craig and Mark Boyle, but they're obviously looking to put pressure on the rest of us that are leading the table.
Extension called.
I think if one of these two players was to come away tonight with maybe only just a point or 2 points, then I think they'd struggle to get back into it. But the table is so tight at the moment. It's always Craig missed a shot there.
It was a really difficult one, that.
It was, yeah.
Which you'd be disappointed with, because he got such a good hammer into the break. This is the shot again. It wasn't easy. He'd have been frustrated that was all that was left for him after that break.
Yeah, it was a tough one, but I think he was almost forced into it because he was on his the 2 awkward balls straight away, and he knew that if he got it, he had every chance of winning the frame. Where's this white ball going? Oh.
Foul, 3 shots.
Oh, another twist in the tail.
Time running.
Yeah, it looks unlucky because obviously it's come off 3 cushions to the side and fallen into the middle pocket, but he hasn't played the can as well as he wanted to. He didn't want the white to be sort of running around the table. He's just he wanted to can into his balls full in the face, and he's clipped off them, which has obviously caused the white to go around the table.
You can see it didn't go as planned, because the red that he wanted to cannon is not really available for him. And
so we're open table now, and Craig's played that very well. He's on the red in the middle of the table. Now, obviously, this should be 5-2, and it could be a big 3 points.
Yeah, a reminder for those who aren't familiar with the black ball rules that as neither player has potted just yet on a legal shot, the table was still open for Craig there. He did play yellow with his very first shot after the break. So red to the ball. And this now should be relatively straightforward.
Yeah, he just needs to make this is the shot really. I mean, he's going to play the plant, and I believe this could go wrong because the red's not set into the middle of the pocket. He'd like to maybe bump the yellow out of the way to give himself options after this shot, I'm not sure if he's got the angle to do that, but this is the key shot to win the frame, really. He's forced into the yellow. As he landed. It's come a bit awkward, I think, unless he can drop this red in the corner. Or does he have to take the one into the middle pocket? So we'll see. I think he can drop this red into the corner. No, he's playing into the middle. He was too thin. Is this frame ball? He's got it.
Played that very, very
We
well.
say it's frame ball, but it's still not easy. He'd like to drift it past that red. He's got to play a decent shot here.
Yeah, if he'd have avoided it, he'd have been perfect on it. That really, really well.
He's just about there. If you can pop this into the middle and slide past those reds, he should be okay. He's literally just about got the last roll.
It shows how good his cue control is, the fact that he didn't even go down on that shot there. Basically used himself as a rest.
He's still across, but that's perfect. This for the match.
5-2 then for Craig Marsh. He's on the table for him with this black ball. Oh, goodness me. Well, no one expected that. He'd done all the hard work. He had done all the hard work.
He'd be really frustrated at that. That was... Only he'll really know why he missed that, but a lot of times you get down the shot and you just... It's one of those that's so easy for him. He might get down the shot and think, oh, no, I feel quite comfortable, but then because it's so easy, he won't get back up, you know. I think that might have been the case there.
Just a case of just a little bit of overthinking it.
Possibly, as I say, only he'll really know what happened there, but...
I think he's overthinking it now.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a horrible position to be in. But he's got to pick himself up from it. He's still favourite to win the match. But has Mark left himself a bit short
I think
there?
he's just about okay. As I say, it wasn't a great job, but I think he's okay.
It's an occupational hazard, missing shots like that. I know it's not something you prefer to even remember, but how does one try and recover from missing a bit of a dolly like that to win a match?
It's a tough one, really. I suppose it all depends on why you missed it. But obviously, I mean, Craig needs to try and put that out of his mind and concentrate on the next frame. I mean, if it does end up being a draw, if Mark Boyle does win this frame and the next frame, Craig will obviously be kicking himself, but he needs to try and sort of that outcome, to try and put that out of his mind at the moment, and just if you can win the next frame, then all right, there's a lesson learned basically, but he still gets the 3 points. But you won't want to start thinking that that Mark could possibly get the draw at this stage. He needs to just try all out in the next frame.
Well, it's 4-3. Mark does have the break as well.
I think they say Craig's playing well, so I mean, let's watch the shot again.
He's almost hit it straight, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got nowhere near it. Say, I think, he just hit mouth there. Should have got back up. He's, as I say, he's got down the shot and thought to himself, oh, I need to get back up here for whatever reason. But because it was so easy, he just thought, no, I'll play it. And it happens all the time. We all say it, you need to get back up, but I think that's why he's so frustrated. It's not so much on missing the pop, but he knew that.
Final frame, Mark Ball to break, trailing 4 frames to 3. Time running.
I think he knows about the comp box, so I think he can hear me. I think.
I think he also knew the camera was straight on him as well. Well, he'll know better than anyone. Good break here from Mark Boyle. We'll put the pressure on, but is he going to come up dry?
He hasn't got a ball.
Wow.
And this is interesting because this isn't easy.
All right then, Craig Marsh, how is your recovery? It was a horrible end to the last frame, but he can still get out of this match with 3 points yet. Surprised at that actually, because usually how games like this work is Mark has the easiest breaking dish in the world to
yeah,
make the draw.
Shots like that usually cost you 2 frames, but they haven't. He's got a lifeline. I expect him to take reds here, and this is almost his key shot. If he can control this and get on another red, and he should be okay. Oh,
Blown up like a balloon.
Despondent at this stage.
yeah, as you can see, sort of, again, is he just cued it badly, or just shouldn't? I don't think it was a lack of concentration. I think he's just he's cued that badly, and it could well be that the last shot of the black was still playing on his mind a bit. He hasn't left. It's not a guarantee this isn't for Mark, because he'd love to be on an easy red, but he's going to have to play a little tricky one here down the to the top right-hand pocket.
Yeah, it is fiddly, but it probably gets rid of one of his more difficult balls at the same time.
He's played it well.
Cued that beautifully.
I don't expect Mark, the way the match has gone, I don't really expect Mark to miss from here. They are all there for him. His white ball is usually very good, so I don't expect him to, and because the balls are in the middle of the table as well, I don't really expect him to fall over at any point here.
It just seems to be how the narrative of these games seems to go. You can rule out all players' ability and what have you, but it always seems to be the case. If you get 2 bad misses like that, it has to cost you.
Yeah, I think if you're playing 8 frames of pool at this level and you miss 2 balls, you'd be very lucky to win the match. But it's not over yet. I expect Mark to get these, but it's not a guarantee.
And Mark himself hasn't been on top form so far in this match.
No, and he has only, as I said, both these players have only played 4 matches, so they're not really into the. They probably still might feel a bit cold at this in this tournament.
Well, speaking to Mark earlier on, he played a tournament on Saturday where he played like a dream, didn't miss a ball in his own words. So he was feeling confident tonight. A few early jitters perhaps.
That's to be expected. The way he's gone about this finish now, I fully expect him to play the red on the left-hand side cushion as his last ball. So I think he's just going to roll this in for the red in the middle. And I think the angle he's got in there is pretty much perfect. So this is the shot basically that wins him the frame and gets the draw in the match. If he can just stun this over and land anywhere near the red on the left-hand side, he can drop that into the middle, and then obviously position on the black is guaranteed.
Well, this is Harry Houdini stuff. If Mark Boyle gets out of this match with a draw.
He's played that well. It's a bit short, but I mean, as I say, the position on the black is guaranteed, so he'll just think I can just drop this in. He'd like to be right behind it, but don't fancy to miss this.
It's more awkward than he'd like.
There.
Wow. For 4-4.
So I'd be happy with the draw, and there it is.
That is the great escape from Mark Boyle. He had absolutely no right to take a point from that. Should have been Craig Marsh's victory, and Luke Melsham knows it as well, make no mistake. In the end, it's a very, very even game. We saw it in the first 4 frames. It flew by in all of about 10 minutes, and then after the break, just got a little bit bogged down. In the end, both players have ultimately ended up cancelling each other out.
Yeah, those 2 missed pots in the last 2 frames obviously cost Craig from 4-2 up.
Well, Simon, it's time for you to depart. We wish you the very best luck in your next match, and that is coming up next.